Nigerians who are victims of impunity in government by corrupt political class are fed up. Good evening, viewers. You are welcome back. This is BVI Channel 1 live broadcast, and we are on the program Political Review. Today, we are going to be reviewing something quite very important, talking about the election, the possible path to victory, 2023 presidential election that will be happening in Nigeria. That is what we're going to be talking about, and our highlight for today will be based on some of the criterias or some apparatus that could be used to check who among the three major candidates would win the 2023 presidential election. And joining me on this program will be a usual friend and a guest, the CEO of Prime View Television, London, Ambassador Spencer Anenwelu. But before I bring him on and kick the program fully, running, I will have to bring to you a special announcement for the obedient families worldwide. This announcement and information is extremely important to all obedient Nigerians, especially the political party, Labour Party, the support groups, and all fans of Mr. Peter Obi and Dati. So after that, when we come right back, I'll bring in the guest and we will start the debate in earnest. Just stay tuned and stay connected. Don't go away. Please share this video while you watch. I'll be right back.
The obedient family, this is a serious issue, serious announcement, and we have to take it very serious. We have about 177,000 polling units. If you times that by 30, that is about 5.3 million votes. From information reaching us right now, the other parties, what they're trying to do is, because they have nothing to offer, they don't have anything physically to show. We are the only ones making noise and everywhere. The plan is to strategize people in the polling units and lure them to go and vote Peter Obi in a different party. If you times that, so their target is targeting about 30 people per line. If you times that by about 177,000, it's about 5.3. So let's say 5.5 million. That is enough to upset the total results. We can't afford this to happen because this is a very simple and insignificant problem that we can just fix in 1 second. Why? Some people don't really know Labour Party sign. We identified this in July, and we are the first people in Nigeria. We created the phone sticker. You can see it here right now. We have distributed thousands all over the country. It's very simple. It's very cheap to produce. You can produce it the way you want, no matter your group, whatever coalition you are or group. Please, we need to raise this awareness as fast as possible. Information reaching us right now is that is what they are gearing and preparing for. They don't have nothing to offer. They are nowhere. So we must prevent this. If you can see, we started this earlier. Look at this picture right now. During PVC registration and even after PVC registration, we have been sensitizing people, going outside, giving them these stickers, letting them understand that Labour Party logo is where they're going to vote Peter Obi. A lot of people didn't know that. We have taken this thing big time. I mean, just look at all this slide. You can see all this slide. Please, we have to intensify this effort right now. From the security information reaching us, they have strategized again to continuously try to lie to people and lure them to vote Peter Obi under a different logo. For example, look at this guy here right now. I'm not against PDP at all, but you shouldn't. This guy is luring people into believing that Peter Obi is under PDP logo. If their plan succeed, they will take about 5 million and above. We cannot afford this, please. This is a very serious. That's why I say it is urgent to everyone. We must prevent this as soon as possible. This cannot happen. We can individually make these phone stickers. They are very cheap. With just 5,000 naira, you can have almost 500 copies. You can just share them freely, collectively, or as an individual. This awareness must go around, please. This is something we must do. This is very serious. Please share this video now. We want everyone to know this. Share this video. This is important. The link on your right hand side, just click it, subscribe for updates. We want people to be informed properly. We want people to be carried along so that we don't make any mistake. This election is our collective responsibility, and we must deliver Peter Obi so that we change this country. Thank you and have a lovely day. The Obedient family, this is a serious issue, serious announcement, and we have to take it very serious. We have about 177,000 polling units. If you times that by 30, that is about 5.3 million votes. From information reaching us right now, the other parties, what they are trying to do is, because they have nothing to offer, they don't have anything physically to show. We are the only ones making noise and everywhere. The plan is to strategize people in the polling units and lure them to go and vote Peter Obi in a different party. If you times that, so their target is targeting about 30 people per line. If you times that by about 177,000, it's about 5.3. So let's say 5.5 million. That is enough to upset the total result. We can't afford this to happen because this is a very simple and insignificant problem that we can just fix in 1 second. Why? Some people don't really know Labour Party sign. We identified this in July, and we are the first people in Nigeria who created the phone sticker. You can see it here right now. We have distributed thousands all over the country. It's very simple. It's very cheap to produce. You can produce it the way you want, no matter your group, whatever coalition you are or group. Please, we need to raise this awareness as fast as possible. Information reaching us right now is that is what they are gearing and preparing for. They don't have nothing to offer. They are nowhere. So we must prevent this. If you can see, we started this earlier. Look at this picture right now. During PVC registration and even after PVC registration, we have been sensitizing people, going outside, giving them these stickers, letting them understand that Labour Party logo is where they're going to vote Peter Obi. A lot of people didn't know that. We have taken this thing big time. I mean, just look at all this slide. You can see all this slide. Please, we have to intensify this effort right now. From the security information reaching us, they have strategized again to continuously try to lie to people and lure them to vote Peter Obi under a different logo. For example, look at this guy here right now. I'm not against PDP at all, but you shouldn't. This guy is luring people into believing that Peter Obi is under PDP logo. If their plans succeed, they will take about 5 million and above. We cannot afford this, please. This is a very serious. That's why I say it is urgent to everyone. We must prevent this as soon as possible. This cannot happen. We can individually make these phone stickers. They are very cheap. With just 5,000 naira, you can have almost 500 copies. You can just share them freely, collectively, or as an individual. This awareness must go around, please. This is something we must do. Share everyone this. Share this video. This is important. Just click it, type updates. We want people to be carried along so that we don't make any mistake. This election is our collective responsibility, and we must deliver Peter Obi so that we change this country. Thank you and have a lovely day.
Welcome back again. This is still BVI Channel 1.
The Obedient family. Review. This is a serious.
As your host, what you just heard is the I'll call it an announcement, heads up for all obedient Nigerians. Now we are back, and I hope every one of you who have listened would take that very directive very seriously, as GGM is already taking on the grassroots mobilization in southeastern part of Nigeria. That is our catchment area. So we are going to villages to take this message to the grassroots, especially as it boils around the logos of Labour Party and as well the format and how the procedure on how to vote and make sure your vote counts. Now, let us hit the ground running respect to what we'll be talking about tonight, as I'll be bringing on board a friend, a brother. I cannot deny him, because despite having political differences in terms of our ideologies, but he is one good man with a good heart. I'm talking about heart, but other things I cannot vouch for him politically. But we're going to iron it out tonight on this WWW. It is a wrestling match between two different ideologies and perspectives that will strike a balance for the viewers to make healthy decisions. I'm talking about no other person other than the publisher, CEO, Prime View Television, London, Spencer Anenwelo. Spencer, it's good to have you on BVI Channel 1.
Thank you, Chinedu. Thank you, BVI Channel 1, for having me on the program. Thank you, Nigerians. Thank you, viewers.
Okay, wonderful. He's a typical British man, so you'll be speaking so fast. But me, I'm a typical Igbo man. So we'll be ironing it out tonight. And in case you want to be part of this conversation, you can always call the lines. The number is right here, +23481045553. You can call it direct line, or you can call through WhatsApp. And we have simple rules in our proceeding. Our simple rules remains: we don't use vulgar language on anyone or anything. And anything you have to bring here, it must be a verifiable fact and not just a hearsay, rumors or anything. So we are here to discuss. We are here to give the people a voice. Let your opinions be heard, okay? But ensure you stick to the topic under review. We are talking about the path or the possible path to victory with respect to the three major contenders of this 2023 general election. Talking about P2B, Atiku, and Tinubu right there. So these are the possible top three candidates we are going to be reviewing their possible chances of winning the 2023 presidential election. Now, Mr. Spencer Anenwelo, who is joining me from London, we're going to start this debate by you giving an overview of what you think about the 2023 presidential election, running through, irrespective of your own candidates, run through the three major candidates and give us your overview, then we will set the ball rolling. Over to you, Spencer.
Okay, thank you, Chinedu. As we all know, the 2023 elections has there's been like a joker thrown out to Nigeria.
Exactly.
We won primaries. We saw how the primaries went. We first of all saw the PDP primaries, how it went, and how we had a strong contender in the person of Governor Wike, who wanted really insisted, and he still who wants power to come down to the south, and he tried and fought but unfortunately for him, money politics won the day. And we saw Abubakar Atiku emerge as the party's flag bearer for the PDP. Now, we also witnessed the primaries that happened with the APC, and we saw the likes of Governor Rocha Sukolocha, Governor Dave Umahi, even Minister of Transport, Chibika Amechi, former governor of Rural State, he came up, and even the vice president came forward. Because this is, the whole notion is that their power should come to the south. That's the whole idea. And that's why you saw many people across parties from the southern part of Nigeria putting themselves forward, irrespective of party, to try and see, to show that really, power this time around, it's an unspoken language, it's not constitutional, we all agree. But it's a gentleman's agreement that after 8 years of the North being in power, that it should come down to the South. And we saw how the money politics played out here once again. Yes, what you said. And former governor of Lagos State, the Jagaban himself, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, mounted and became the person who won with a wide margin, I must say. Won and got the party's flag, became the party's flag bearer. And obviously, in the PDP, we had some other people who were part of the PDP who are disgruntled, even in the PDP as we speak. The former governor, current governor of Rural State, Wike, is not happy. And one of those who were not happy, although he didn't put himself in the primary, is the Labour Party flag bearer, who obviously left the PDP just before the primaries were going to take place and joined the Labour Party. And in joining the Labour Party, he obviously walked in there, and other people stepped down for him because he obviously, over the past few years, he's been going around and Nigerians really want to him. The man of Igbo extraction from the southeast and from the south. And there's this sort of spoken, language that other regions in Nigeria have except for the northeast. And then it's about time the southeast, who is one of the tripods of Nigeria, should have their turn. And that's why you're seemingly seeing this new, not that the person of Peter Obi is not credible, he's very credible and competent, no doubt, but there's this notion that why can't an Igbo man be the president? And to me, that's one of the driving forces that's made the Labour Party have such a sudden surge of following. Plus, Mr. Peter Obi himself is speaking the language that many of the young people are identifying with. He's a young man. He's talking about economy, talking about economics, cutbacks, how to save money. And that seems to have resonated with a lot of young Nigerians, And that's an overview how I've seen it. So we now have these three main candidates. Of course, there are other political parties like I must mention the AAC and the others, but those are peripheral. But we're talking about political parties who've proven to have following, some who have structure, who are, have foundation and basis in Nigerian politics so far. And so far we've seen it. It's clear that this tussle is going to be between the PDP, APC, and the Labour Party of Nigeria. Thank you, Chinedu.
All right, Spencer, thank you very much for that, your exposition. And we're glad to have you. Hang on a bit, let me bring myself back again to you. Spencer, now you've observed this very aspect of this election. Let us now go down to the chances from your own take, the chances these candidates have. There are quite a number of things that we're going to consider, which includes, let's start with the widespread. According to the Nigerian electoral law, for anyone to win the presidency, the person must win at least 24 states. You got that?
Yes, correct.
Good. Now, let us look at these three major candidates. You've talked about something while you are looking at it, the gentleman agreement, which is going to be part of what we're going to talk about. We're going to take it bit by bit. One, the widespread. Two, regional strength. Three, capacity to mobilize at the grassroots. Popularity vote. Strength of the party. And other factors that we may say should be played down, which is unnecessary in a civilized world, but in Nigerian context, it still plays a huge role. Talking about personality, talking about religion, and talking about ethnicity. Now, you are going to take it one after the other. Let us start with the very first one, widespread and across 24 states. Who among them do you think, from your own perspective, your own candidate, and how do you think such candidate could easily mop up 24 states within the 36 states of Nigeria? You give us your own arithmetics.
All right. What I'm saying, Chinedu, is, you didn't complete it properly. What the Constitution says is that whoever wins, emerges the winner, must win in at least 24 out of the 36 states. And in those states, they must have gotten at least 25% of the votes. And to become the winner, you still also need to get the most number of votes cast. So you need to have the most number of votes. One, you need to have won in 24 states. Two, and you need to have, in those states where you didn't win, you still need to have gotten 25% of the votes for you across the 24 states, at least. So let's say you win outright in 10 states, right? And you lose in, say, 5 states. Out of the states you still won, that made up your numbers, right? When they take, say, for instance, Abia State, you could win in other states and come in Abia States. And if it was 100,000 votes, you need to get at least 25% of the votes to be able to count Abia State of one of the states where you won. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even though you still lost. Yeah. So it's complicated. But those states will add as part of the states where you won, for you to now win ultimately. So it's not just a case of you winning 24 states, because what they're trying to achieve is you need to be.
You need to get at
out.
least. You need to. It doesn't matter if you won the 24 states, but you can actually win a substantial number of percentage from that state before that state could be counted.
Yeah, among your winnings.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
That's the reason why they're doing it. So you must be a president that's widespread. You must be a president that's known. So you can't be a president that is known only in the southeast, and when you go over to the north, nobody knows you, but you still won the election. I don't know if you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So, for instance, somebody in the north, for instance, because it was done for mainly people that have more population. Because the tendency there could be that because you're, for instance, a northerner, and you don't have the most number of people, because election is a game of numbers.
Yeah.
Because you have the most number of people in your side vote you, and because they all voted for you, your vote counts more than everyone else, you suddenly won the votes. It was not just that simple. They said they want you to be somebody who's known. So that's why we keep on talking about the structure here. And that's where the political party takes over. And that's why your name can get you so far. In Nigerian politics, this is how it is. And in most politics in the world, you need the structure. You need the political structure. You need to have the political strength. And if you're asking me, which of the 3 parties, how do I rate them? In terms of widespread, in Nigeria, the only 2 political parties that have that mass spread across Nigeria, in all the local governments, in all the villages, in every single part of Nigeria, at least an office, are the PDP and the APC. I'll say that even the PDP more so than the APC. The APC is just now grappling to get onto where the PDP is. The PDP has become a household name. It got to a stage where once you're on the ballot of the PDP, in 1999, 1992, 2000 and, in the 2000s, once you're on the ballot of the PDP in a certain state, automatically you're the governor. The same as in the Southwest. Once you're on the ballot of some of the old parties, the four parties, the ACN, then automatically you become the governor. In Anambra State, for instance, and that's how Soludo became the governor. He tried in other parties. Once you're in the ballot of Abga, you automatically, you're going Ijebego, as they say. So this is how it plays out, and that's why we're saying political structure is required. When it comes to the presidential election, this is not just 100,000 people. This is about millions of voters. In the last election, I think the total tally was about 29 million voted. I think APC got 15 million, PDP got 11 million, then the rest, so about 29 or so million was the total tally. So you can see what we're talking about. We're not talking about an election of 1 million people. It's millions. So you need to be able to be widespread and reach out to the next quality. And the Labour Party, for me, so far, does not have that widespread. They don't. They probably will do in the future with the way they're going. If they keep on, throwing up people like Peter B, and even when it comes to this election coming in 2023, they'll make sure they have candidates across all positions: House of Reps, Senate, State House of Assembly, House of, Federal House of Assembly. They'll have people, governorship candidates. They need to have all of these positions filled. So each time they call for a rally, their members will go out there. In each local government, they'll make sure they have 1 or 2 people there representing Labour Party. And that's the only way they could create that widespread awareness. So that when it comes to the election day, people could sometimes say, yeah, I recognize that party, and they could go ahead and vote for them. But if they leave it too late, which I feel they don't have enough time, there's not enough time for them at the moment, because you need time. This is something that's built over time. And you need the numbers. There are 774 local governments in Nigeria. There are 8,800 and something wards. I can't remember the exact figure. And when it comes down to polling units, there are over 119,000 polling units. So you need to see what we're talking about, where you need to have manpower for soldiers. You need to have at least 500,000 people, first of all, to be on your side, to man your votes. This is not a joke. It's not a case of a governorship election where you could do it with a few, maybe 5,000 people. No. You need hundreds of thousands of people, 500,000 people. You need to have at least 1 million people, plus your members, to be on your side for things to work. Because you're talking about votes, people who are going to be your eyes and ears in those polling units. You need people there. Minimum of 2 or 3 people there who will be witnessing. And that's one thing I see like in other political parties aside from the APC and the PDP.
Okay, now you've made a very wonderful analysis there, and you're just you believe that it is only PDP and APC that had that widespread capacity to mobilize at the grassroots. But one thing, Spencer, that you fail to recognize is, let me tell you this. One thing that is very clear in this current dispensation, and you may agree with me, that when you talk about widespread in terms of the number, the foot soldiers, the polling units who are going to man them, with the mass movement you are seeing with Peter Obi, are you looking at him as a pushover? Some of the people in APC and PDP have done that in the past, and they have recounted their position, seeing that what is happening right now within the Nigerian political space is a tsunami. It's not just a political election or political campaign. This is a revolution. For instance, the governor of Ebonyi State said that Peter Obi will never get a vote from his state. But recently, after beating Buhari, he came out to say, what I am seeing as a party man, he's looking at his party being as a party man. But if he looked inside himself and tell himself sincerely, he will say otherwise. But as a party man, I wish my party would win. I wish my party would win. If not, Peter Obi should win. If not, it is Peter Obi, because he said categorically, his words, that Peter Obi obedient movement have opened his eyes to a new reality. Don't you think that there is more to these words than what you've just explained? talking about widespread, because we're talking about real people, the people that APC are counting on to be at the polling units are people, still the same people who their children are currently not in school, who their children could not get jobs. Some of them could not get their pensions. And we are talking about the same people who are facing the hardship in the economy, the insecurity in the system. There is no borderline between those who are loyalists to APC and they are now buying fuel at a different pump price. They are now changing their dollar for their businesses at a different rate. They now have a special security dedicated to them. They are not feeling what Nigerians are feeling. We are talking about the same suffering Nigerian people. Spencer, don't you think that with all of what is happening today, the reality is dawning on some of these politicians that this will be a ballot revolution? And talking about having offices, recently, just yesterday, the Labour Party had their retreat. They had their retreat, and we saw how they came up to announce an openness for party registration. And I can tell you, Spencer, that NLC, TUC, and other trade unions or labor unions came together to endorse the Labour Party candidate. And they have thrown their offices across Nigeria open at all levels, from the federal level to state level to local government level. And these are working class in Nigeria. These are the people that are, you call them breadwinners of their families. These are people that knows one-on-one family members of all Nigerians pulled together. These are the same people that will face APC. Do you think APC got what it takes to convince these people on a reverse trend based on what you are calculating? After that, we'll move over to the next permutations we're going to use for tonight's discussion. I want to get your opinion on that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Very well.
Well, what you talked about, you started with saying what Dave Umahi said. Dave Umahi is the governor who's from Ebonyi State. And we all know that Ebonyi State is falls under the southeast of Nigeria. And the southeast of Nigeria is one of the strongholds of former Governor Peter Obi and I dare say the PDP. Now, in the last election, presidential election, Ebonyi State got, I think the APC only got around 90,000 votes, or thereabouts, 90-something thousand votes. Yeah, while the PDP ran away with nearly 500,000 votes there, right? So now you can see that what Dave Umahi is telling you is that the Labour Party is surprising him by the way they're bringing up gathering momentum. And he feels that they are going to be making inroads, even in his state. Because he knows that ordinarily, the Southeast is not his state, is Ebonyi State, which he won when he was in the PDP, we must say, was a state that the people belong to the PDP. It's a PDP state. We must identify another thing, that there are strongholds when it comes to politics and constituencies and regional politics. There are political parties over time who have made a name through their various governors, through their various House of members, the stakeholders in the area, and they now have people who are loyal to them based on all these factors I just mentioned. And that's why you now see in some areas people are hell-bent on voting for a certain political party. Despite the odds, despite whatever you bring their way, they'll tell you, I'm voting PDP, I've always voted PDP, and it's not going to change now. Now, what we're seeing at the moment are those people who were 14 years old in the last general elections in 2019. Some of them have become 18, and they're in their numbers. And these are the young people who are now predominantly, majorly, who never had PVC APCs who have been brought together, by this new P2P movement. That's the demographic that's being targeted, and they're in their numbers, and they've never voted before, and they're excited about voting. And yes, it is a demographic grab, but that doesn't change anything, because in Nigeria at the moment, you still have the women, elderly women who are in their numbers in the millions. You still have the young people who are still not as young as, I wouldn't say very young anymore, but still youthful, who have voted in maybe 2-3 previous elections. Yes, they'll tell you who have been opportunity to see the administration of the PDP for 60 years. Some of them are still around. And they can tell you, yes, the APC haven't done well, but they've only had 8 years. So you can never compare them with the PDP. And what we can say is, even the Labour Party has never held power, so we wouldn't know what they could do. So it's all about guesswork at the moment. So what I'm trying to say to you is, this would not determine ultimately how people will behave. Don't forget there are other factors that will come to play. We need to bring in factors of money. There's a factor of religion. I'm talking about factors that make people decide to stay where they are. A typical northerner, for instance, he's suffering like you're suffering, but these are not the factors that will move him. A southerner would have their own factor. A southerner would say to you, he's not going to vote for Tinubu because this time he has his brother on the ballot, and he just wants to vote for him. So another young man in the north will tell you, no, he wants Atiku. He remembers when Atiku paid for his school fees. So it's not going to be as clear cut as what you're saying. It's not going to be a case of, the price of Gary is now 200 naira. For that reason, I'm not going to vote Atiku. It doesn't work that way. There are more, it's deeper than that. It's politics. It's like telling me today to go and become a Muslim because Saudi Arabia is the greatest country in the world. It wouldn't work that way. I have my reasons why I'm staying where I'm staying. And that's what we have to identify in politics. So because there are strongholds already, and they have habits, you have to know their habits. They are political habits. That's going to make a difference, and that's going to show. But I'm not disregarding the new wave of people who are disgruntled in Nigeria saying, enough of the APC, enough of the PDP, we want a third force. And that's what I identify about what's happening at the moment. There is this emergent third force, which, if groomed and kept together and put to the test of time, these young people who are coming to fill in those spaces will be the structure is built over time. But unfortunately, it cannot happen in this 2023 election. There's not enough time. You need time. You need time. You need people to. You need belief as well in the whole system. Don't forget that when it came to the APC and the formation of the APC, it wasn't just about the one political party that made it up. It was an amalgamation. It was people from the ACN, CPC, NNPP, ABGA, all parties. Even part of Labour Party. Some people from our own Labour joined, pulled away, and they came together. Governors, the council was competent, and senators was competent, and they built up this new platform which they used. So going back to what we're saying, yes, the Governor David Umahi is identifying his fears. He's identifying a new form of opposition that they've never seen before, because they never knew a third force would emerge suddenly through P2P. But at the same time, he's from a state where his state traditionally votes the way of the PDP. And we must identify that most of those people who are pandering towards the Labour and the Labour Party are people who were normally predominantly people who supported the PDP. And this is a fact. And now what we're seeing that when we go forward, we're going to discuss more about what we're going to see going forward. Because I believe that, for instance, votes are going to be shared in most of the PDP strongholds. So I'll leave that for now.
Okay, you believe that votes will be shared within the PDP. No, give us your oversight on that. We want to hear it.
Okay, I believe that when it comes to the Southeast as a region, the Southeast predominantly belongs to the PDP. I can give you the numbers.
Go ahead.
Yes, I can look into the last election in 2019, and I'll tell you how they voted. APC versus PDP, right? And it's clear when you look at the numbers are there. Why glaring that the Southeast belongs to the PDP, right? But now with this new force that we're seeing, it's going to change. Okay, take in the last elections, other states, APC recorded 85,058 votes. PDP got 119,698 votes. This was in Abia State. In Anambra State, where the APC recorded the least number of votes in the Southeast, APC got 33,000 votes, 33,298,000 votes, 33,298 votes. The PDP got 524,738 votes. In Enugu State, our APC got 54,423 votes. PDP got 355,553 votes. In Imo State, right? No, in Ebonyi State, which we're talking about, APC got 90,726 votes. PDP got 258,573 votes. Then in Imo State, where's Imo State? In Imo State, where's Imo State? I think I don't have Imo State in my list. I don't have Imo State in this list. But I know Imo State recorded. I missed out Imo State. Imo State recorded similar pattern of voting where the APC scored less and the PDP took over. So what I'm seeing now is, because we've seen clearly that the Labour Party are predominantly populated by people from the Southeast because of Peter Obie's emergence. Yeah, I'm not saying just exclusively, predominantly from people from the Southeast. What you're going to see is the PDP stronghold is going to be whittled down. APC might lose a little, but those that voted for APC voted out of conviction and out of perhaps maybe inducements or patronage, maybe because they had people they're loyal to. Loyalty really voted, right? While those who voted for the PDP came out based on conviction and their hell-bent PDP supporters. Now, what you're going to see are some of those people who are now disgruntled because predominantly some of them don't want power to go back to the north. That's why they're going to tell you they're not going to vote for Atiku. Some of them are fed up with the PDP, right? Those are the kind of people you're going to see who will say, normally, traditionally, I vote for the PDP, but this time around, definitely I'm not voting for APC because I don't anyway. But this time around, I'm going to give Peter Obi, who's an Igbo person from the South, Southeast, I'm going to give him my vote. And that's where you're going to see the stronghold that the PDP normally has or had over the years in the Southeast is going to be put to test this time around. And you're going to see that in that region, the PDP they know it, and they're going to lose a lot of votes to the Labour Party. The APC need only to get their 25% or whatever the votes are, if they can. 25% is their target. If they can get up to 25% in any state there, then they're good to go. And that's what they'll be working on.
Okay, Spencer, you've made a very wonderful analysis there, but there are some realities that we really need to look into, okay? And our viewers, if you want to be part of this conversation, don't forget you can make use of the chat. Let me quickly acknowledge those who are on our chat, who are dropping comments. We have Kenechukwu Ilochukwu. We have Omuti Naga. But Kenechukwu, we want to inform you that if you don't like the topic under discussion, you cannot just unnecessarily be dropping comments that are not valid on this platform. And there are words that are totally off, and that will earn you a blockage completely from this platform. So be mindful of that. Emmanuel Ezo KK, we appreciate you for coming. And Onyibo Stephen made a comment. I said we can only take valid comments that relate to the topic under review. So let us take a look at Onyiboy Stephen. Said last election, do you think that Buhari got any vote? The answer is not, but what happened? He won election, that is what will happen. Oh, this English is very, very, please, you guys should know how we can help ourselves in the English. But the bottom line is that he doesn't believe, from what he has mopped up there, he doesn't believe that Buhari really won that election. Okay? Now, we have Emmanuel Ezokeke said, I will say that it is Peter Obi if it will be in a normal society, but in a corrupt contraption like ours, everything is possible. That is from Emmanuel Ezokeke. We have Charles Duru. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget, if you're dropping comments, we'll be reading them out. Only valid comments. And we take out invalid comments or comments that violates our rules on this platform and completely block the user from further comments. Okay? That is how we do it right here. All right, now to Spencer, we're going to look at some of the things you've just said regarding the issue of the strength, just like you've mentioned, APC having an advantage considering that votes will be shared in the South, especially in the Southeast and the South-South, which happens to be the stronghold of PDP based on the permutation you've made resulting from the previous election. But looking so far with what happened recently between the 2019 election until now, there is a whole lot of changes in terms of attitude of people towards politics and their complete, I don't know how to put it, but their complete rejection of or complete disappointment on the part of government under APC. And we see a whole lot of chunk of people from the north coming up to support the Labour. Many of them, we've seen a whole lot of them. In fact, the massive rallies we've recorded so far have been happening from the north, the stronghold of the current government in power. Then when you come down south, we have the southwest. Nobody can take that away. Tinubu had been holding sway for the southwest when it comes to APC. And when it comes to the south and the southeast, your permutations, I disagree with you. It has always been PDP states, right from 1999, up until when Peter Obi upturned the system and APGA came into play. The rest of other 4 states in the southeast remained PDP, despite the fact that APGA took Imo State up until there was a defection. So in Imo State, in Ebonyi State, where you have APC today, it was as a result of defection of the sitting governor. That was what gave APC room to enter into the southeast. Okay, so they never won any election in the southeast. So obviously, southeast is off for the APC candidates or APC as a party to win the presidential election. So you take off completely the southeast and to the south-south. If you look at the south-south today, south-south is predominantly PDP, even from 1999 up until we start having defection back and forth. We have that of Adam Oshomole actually came on the heels of APC. He won. And you look at Cross River State, he defected. But in Edo State today, you have Obaseki that pushed from APC into PDP. And today, you have four states under PDP in the South-South. Talk about Edo, Rivers, Delta, and Cross River, Akwa Ibom, rather. Cross River is in APC. So when you look at it, it is off for APC as well. Then when you talk about sharing votes, where the loyalty of the southern people will rely on. From the southeast, I can tell you, there will be no vote for APC, and there will no vote for PDP, because there is no ground for it to happen. That is the truth. They will not be voting PDP because of what they believe, that PDP actually truncated or betrayed the loyalty of the Southeast to the party, because throughout 1999 up until now, Southeast have always voted for PDP, from Obasanjo to Yaradua to Jonathan, and even to the presidential candidacy of Atiku in 2019 election, having P2B as a running mate. They voted massively for him. But now that everyone believes, just like you acknowledge, the power should go from south to north or from north to south as the power arrangement by the political elites. Now, the Southeast has turned their back on PDP completely when it comes to that presidential election, and they are giving all their votes to P2B. Now, when you come to the south-south, you see the confusion that is happening in PDP between the south and the north. And I can tell you there is a serious political divide and hurt among the political class, the bourgeois. There are serious political hurt. It is cut deep that even before the election, something might happen. And I can tell you that stand cannot hold for the PDP when it comes to South-South. And when it comes to the ordinary people, generally, across Nigeria, the soft, because that is what is uniting all Nigerian people under the obedient movement. You must accept that. That is what is, putting people together, bringing people from all walks of life in Nigeria, talking about obedient movement. Okay? So, P2B had actually, brought into the consciousness of Nigerian people, all suffering Nigerian people from the east, west, north, and south. And they've come to embrace him as the light of hope for their liberation from the impunity of APC and PDP. So when you talk about, that takes me to the other stage of popularity vote. Today in this election, you cannot fault the popularity vote of P2B. In fact, from the statistics on ground now, P2B is far ahead of both APC and PDP in popularity vote. Talking about the political rallies happening across Nigeria. And these are organic. And that is one thing, Spencer, you must acknowledge. That is one thing that is shocking the normal or the average Nigerian politician. Because they know to even call a meeting of Omonna or ward at ward level by politicians, it will cost you a lot. Now, seeing a spontaneous organic movement spreading like wildfire across Nigeria, self-sponsored, it is really giving the politicians of APC a gross nightmare. Do you disagree with me on that?
Well, I'd like to start with telling you that you said about APC hasn't won any state in the Southeast. That's not strictly true. APC won
that's not what I said. I said they entered the Southeast through defection, and then in
the case of Rivers State, it was not a defection.
Rochas Okorocha won on Apuga. Rochas Okorocha won under Apuga and defected from Apuga to APC. And from there,
I'm telling you subsequently, listen, I'm coming. Subsequently, APC won a governorship election where Hope Uzodinma won his election. He went to court, just the same way P2B, who was the first Supreme Court governor in Nigeria, was P2B. He was the Supreme Court governor. Yeah, he's the first one. And after that, Hope Uzodinma came through. And he went to the Supreme Court and he won and became the governor of Imo State. So I'm just trying to point out that APC has won.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that APC have not won election. Don't shift that. I said APC entered the Southeast through Imo State and Ebonyi State, and they all came about through defection. You cannot override the fact that if Rochas Okorocha did not defect to APC, up to today, maybe there will not be APC in Imo State. It was Rochas Okorocha, excuse me, it was Rochas Okorocha that consolidated. It was
that's not.
I'm coming.
No, it was consolidated by Hope Uzodinma.
No, No, excuse me. It was okay. Excuse me. Rochas Okorocha brought
Yes,
APC into Imo State and
I agree.
consolidated APC as a state in Imo State. You understand?
No,
Then, excuse me. Then they built the momentum. They built the momentum to the point that this when this guy won, Buhari became president. When Buhari became president, Rochas Okorocha won the second tenure under APC. I'm not saying
yes.
it's not Rochas, it is not Oporoma that first won election under APC. I'm saying no. What I'm saying at how APC entered the southeast. They didn't enter the
Okay.
southeast because they took the
No,
southeast.
no,
Just
so now
like
you're correcting yourself. No,
just like in the south, just like in the
okay, what
south, APC won
that?
Edo State through Adam Oshomole.
Yes.
You understand? That's what I'm saying. So you have to understand that discrepancy. Go ahead.
Okay. So anyway, that was just by the way talking.
I wanted to keep it straight.
Yeah, I wanted to identify that when it comes down to that, APC has been making inroads. But the point I was trying to point out is that when it comes to presidential elections, it becomes a different ballgame altogether. People tend to look at the individuals running now. And now we can see that when it comes down to that, Tinubu, Peter Obi, and Atiku are not the same as Buhari. Buhari had his baggages. He had it. People had all sorts of reasons why they didn't want to vote for him. People for Buhari could Islamize Nigeria. Some people for Buhari is going to bring Fulani herdsmen to the east. Some people vote, mostly for people don't. I'm telling you why they massively didn't vote for Buhari. People were told that Buhari was the one who killed Igbos during the Biafran War. So there was this massive hatred for the man. And it was not surprising that people came out. It was difficult for people to vote for him from the southeast. That's what I'm trying to say to you. But in 2023, it's a totally different ballgame.
So you think?
We're not voting for.
So you think Tinubu is going to change that narrative? Why do you think so?
I'm coming. In 2023, you're going to see a different kind of reasoning because now people are thinking we want power to come to the south. Now, people who would have voted for Atiku for some reason, and for whatever reason they don't like Peter Obi, the next best option for them is Atiku. That's the truth. People who see Atiku as a Fulani man who wants to come and take power from the south, or for another 8 years, will look and say, "Well, I don't like Peter Obi for any reason, but I'd rather give it to Tinubu because it's not the south." And you got to understand that the way you think is not the way everybody else thinks. The way everyone else thinks. Everybody has their reasons for doing things, and some people will probably think this way. Some people will say, "I'd rather vote for. I don't care about the 8 years."
Can you give us an idea, you as a person, what you think that will make other people not like Peter Obi to vote for him and choose Tinubu your candidate?
Peter Obi he's not a saint. You got in the way that he does.
Yeah, of course, Peter Obi is not a saint.
Yes, Peter Obi, there's allegations out there. Some people say he's corrupt. He's part of the old order. He's been mentioned in the Panama Papers. Peter Obi, what people are saying, he didn't do anything for Anambra State. There's no infrastructure standing. Now people are saying, well, when you look at the others, people like Atiku, for instance, people that live in Lagos will tell you that they remember when his days in Lagos. They remember going through school and not paying school fees. Some of them are telling you. Some could look at Atiku and tell you, Atiku is a man that's a unifier, a man who loves everybody. Igbo, Yoruba, he doesn't discriminate. So everyone has what's going for them. But I'm telling you that for me,
what's going for you?
Yeah. No candidate is saint. And there's always a reason not to like.
For sure.
So you can't discount that. You can't say that's not true. You can't say everybody likes one person. It doesn't go that way.
I know.
You're talking about in the south. I saw your presentation where you say the whole of the southeast are not going to vote for PDP. That's not true. Really? In the south, let me tell you how it works. Okay. PDP has the most senators and the most House of Assembly members in the southeast. The PDP has the most. Now, the PDP has the most, when it comes down to the grassroots structures, they have the most number of supporters. The PDP in Nigeria as a political party is the largest political party in Nigeria until now. They have the most number of registered supporters. Don't take that as a joke. There are people who are PDP to death. Those are real party loyalists. They are there. Don't think it's changing anything. They might come out and make all the noise you see. But when it comes down to it, when the real money comes out in politics, they will take their positions. Structures are being put, people are going into positions now. People are taking up their positions. The campaigns haven't started yet. The campaigns will start in earnest on the 28th of September. And when it starts, that's when you can come back today. We'll come back on another day. We're going to have this discussion again. When we start seeing all the crowds coming out, the argument then will be, but their crowd is monetized. This crowd is free. It doesn't matter then. Then you're going to be asking yourself, how come when this person calls, the Labour Party, the number of people you see there, does that represent the whole state? That does not, that by no means represents even a village. The crowd you'll see there. That's nothing. You understand? That's nothing compared to what happens in reality. So when the reality comes, when the real money comes out, when the real campaign starts and the real big boys come with their money and their followers.
Who are these? Who are these big boys? I would like to know. Nigerian people would like to know who are these big boys.
The big boys in politics are the real career politicians who have mass followers. You know, in social media these days, there are people who are who have their followers. You can not underrate them when it comes to call.
They can buy. Spencer. Point of correction, they buy crowd. They rent crowd. They rent those crowd. Go on. And renting crowd costs a whole lot of money, billions. And let me tell you something, Spencer. Let me tell you this. This crowd renting is just for popularity vote. You know, it doesn't translate into the real vote. The people you mop up, give them 1,000, 5,000 to come wear t-shirt and the rallies and all that. It doesn't translate into vote because it is the same people that goes for PDP rally, goes for APC rally. That is the reality. I've already made a record on that. No, Labour have not contested yet. This is the first time Labour is really in the contest.
I'm trying to say this. Don't you still see running around for Labour with Labour and all of that?
Yeah.
Don't be surprised.
No, listen. Let me tell you one thing. I'm not disputing what you're saying. To be honest with you, money plays huge role in Nigeria politics.
Yes.
But I want to confirm from you. You made mention of the big boys. Now, when the big boys that comes in with the big money to play the money politics as usual, from your own assessment, from which major parties do you think, from among these three major contenders, who do you think these big boys are going to come out to support, and why?
No, let me tell you, the big boys, we know where the big boys are.
Please, I want you to mention them. I don't know.
I'm not going to be liable to mention anybody's name.
Now, I'm not saying to mention name. I mean, the big boys, who will you think they are going to support from your own assessment?
I'm telling you that. I'm trying to speak. I'm telling you that the big boys so far are in the APC and the PDP, because that's how we know. That's where these are the two strong parties, and some of the big boys are defecting to the Labour Party at the moment because they can see that that's where there's hope for them too. Where there's no room for them in the top parties, there's no space anymore. All the bigger boys, they have taken over. They have their following. They have the money. They're now looking for refuge somewhere else. And the refuge that everybody's seeing right now, that's looking very terrible, that's looking the way there's possibilities, is the Labour Party. So the Labour Party, people who are doing a certain ideology, there's going to be a party where the rejects from the PDP and APC are going to talk.
Spencer, you're just coming out very clear, and I like it. You're very, you know, that's why I say you are a man of a good heart. You understand, irrespective of your Tinubu allegiance, you still have a good heart to, you know, to be sincere to a certain level. You mentioned the big boys, and maybe for one thing or the other personal to you don't want to mention them, which is not supposed to. You don't need to mention any name. But I can tell you that the big boys you're talking about are the governors. Although you mentioned senators, the big politicians, the contractors, these guys that have huge money, and some of this money are stolen public wealth. I can assure you that. These are on the contract, people that have been given paid money upfront and they don't deliver the project, and the poor masses are suffering it. These are governors that are paying, that are owing their pensioners.
Jen, I can't hear you.
Please hang on, viewers. We'll be right back. We'll be right back, viewers, to continue the program. Just give us a bit of a minute, but while we try to switch, Nigeria Factor just happened. We will go back to take that very announcement that is needed so that all obedient movement must be properly informed. I'll be right back. Just a minute.
The obedient family, this is a serious issue, serious announcement, and we have to take it very serious. We have about 177,000 polling units. If you times that by 30, that is about 5.3 million votes. From information reaching us right now, you know, the other parties, what they're trying to do is, because they have nothing to offer, they don't have anything physically to show. We are the only ones making noise and everywhere. The plan is to strategize people in the polling units and lure them to go and vote Peter Obi in a different party. If you times that, so their target is targeting about 30 people per line. If you times that by about 177,000, it's about 5.3. So let's say 5.5 million. That is enough to upset the total result. We can't afford this to happen because this is a very simple and insignificant problem that we can just fix in 1 second. Why? Some people don't really know Labour Party sign. We identified this in July, and we are the first people in Nigeria who created the phone sticker. You can see it here right now. We have distributed thousands all over the country. It's very simple, it's very cheap to produce. You can produce it the way you want, no matter your group, whatever coalition you are or group. Please, we need to raise this awareness as fast as possible. Information reaching us right now is that is what they are gearing and preparing for. They don't have nothing to offer, they are nowhere. So we must prevent this. If you can see, we started this earlier. Look at this picture right now. During PVC registration and even after PVC registration, we have been sensitizing people, going outside, giving them these stickers, letting them understand that Labour Party logo is where they're going to vote Peter Obi. A lot of people didn't know that. We have taken this thing big time. I mean, just look at all this slide. You can see all this slide. Please, we have to intensify this effort right now. From the security information reaching us, they have strategized again to continuously try to lie to people and lure them to vote Peter Obi under a different logo. For example, look at this guy here right now. I'm not against PDP at all, but you shouldn't. This guy is luring people into believing that Peter Obi is under PDP logo. If their plans succeed, they will take about 5 million and above. We cannot afford this, please. This is a very serious. That's why I say it is urgent to everyone. We must prevent this as soon as possible. This cannot happen. We can individually make these phone stickers. They are very cheap. With just 5,000 naira, you can have almost 500 copies. You can just share them freely, collectively, or as an individual. This awareness must go around, please. This is something we must do. This is very serious. Please share this video now. We want everyone to know this. Share this video. This is important. The link on your right hand side, just click it, subscribe for updates. We want people to be informed properly. We want people to be carried along so that we don't make any mistake. This election is our collective responsibility, and we must deliver Peter Obi so that we change this country. Thank you and have a lovely day. The obedient family, this is a serious issue, serious announcement, and We have to take it very serious. We have about 177,000 polling units. If you times that by 30, that is about 5.3 million votes. From information reaching us right now, the other parties, what they're trying to do is, because they have nothing to offer, they don't have anything physically to show. We are the only ones making noise and everywhere. The plan is to strategize people in the polling units and lure them to go and vote Peter Obi in a different party. If you times that, so their target is targeting about 30 people per line. If you times that by about 177,000, it's about 5.3. So let's say 5.5 million. That is enough to upset the total results. We can't afford this to happen because this is a very simple and insignificant problem that we can just fix in 1 second. Why? Some people don't really know Labour Party sign. We identified this in July, and we are the first people in Nigeria. We created the phone sticker. You can see it here right now. We have distributed thousands all over the country. It's very simple. It's very cheap to produce. You can produce it the way you want, no matter your group, whatever coalition you are or group. Please, we need to raise this awareness as fast as possible. Information reaching us right now that is what they are gearing and preparing for. They don't have nothing to offer. They are nowhere. So we must prevent this. If you can see, we started this earlier. Look at this picture right now. During PVC registration, and even after PVC registration, we have been sensitizing people, going outside, giving them these stickers, letting them understand that Labour Party logo is where they're going to vote Peter Obi. A lot of people didn't know that. We have taken this thing big time. I mean, just look at all this slide. You can see all this slide. Please, we have to intensify this effort right now. From the security information reaching us, they have strategized again to continuously try to lie to people and lure them to vote Peter Obi under a different logo. For example, look at this guy here right now. I'm not against PDP at all, but you shouldn't. This guy is luring people into believing that Peter Obi is under PDP logo. If their plan succeed, they will take about 5 million and above. We cannot afford this, please. This is a very serious. That's why I say it is urgent to everyone. We must prevent this as soon as possible. This cannot happen. We can individually make these phone stickers. They are very cheap. With just 5,000 naira, you can have almost 500 copies. You can just share them freely, collectively, or as an individual. This awareness must go around, please. This is something we must do. This is very serious. Please share this video now. We want everyone to know this. Share this video. This is important. The link on your right hand side, just click it, subscribe for updates. We want people to be informed properly. We want people to be carried along so that we don't make any mistake. This election is our collective responsibility, and we must deliver Peter Obi so that we change this country. Thank you and have a lovely day.
You're welcome back again. We are still on BVI Channel 1 Political Review. We are very sorry about that breaking transmission when Nigeria Factor happened to us. You know what we're talking about. So we appreciate every one of you who had waited for us and had been there while we switch over. And you've had the very important directive by Obedient Movement. Whatever group you are affiliated with, it is important we go out there, collect our PVC. That is one most important thing. Then go down to the grassroots for mobilization. Having said that, I still have with me Spencer Anyanwelu, the CEO Prime View Television, analyzing these three major contenders for 2023 presidential election, talking about PDP, APC, and Labour Party candidates, Peter Obi, Atiku, and Tinubu. I'm going to bring him back again. He has been here with me discussing the possible path to victory for these candidates. Hello, Spencer. Thank you for staying put while we, sort ourselves out with respect to Nigerian Factor. What we just witnessed is what can never be obtainable in Europe and in most African countries, but it is still a big problem in Nigeria. Still talking about the bad governance. Okay, so let's just keep that aside. That will happen on another day. Now, back to what we're talking, because time is fast running out from our hand. We've discussed a whole lot of things today, bordering around widespread regional strength, capacity to mobilize at the grassroots, popularity vote. That is where we are talking. That was what I was discussing when the Nigerian factor happened to us. Then the strength of the party, which the big boys play, also came up from the assessment of our brother here, Spencer Anyenwalo, talking about APC and PDP. Now, let us now quickly take this very few minutes remaining for us to discuss some inconsequential factors. I call it inconsequential factors that shouldn't bother, factors that shouldn't be considered in an election, but it still plays huge role within the Nigeria political space. And we are going to talk about personality of the individual. Personality of the individual is also very important. It shouldn't even be under this factor, because personality of any individual is very important when you talk about voting for that person. But let us talk about the personality now, and also region and ethnicity. Our focus is on region and ethnicity. But Spencer Anyenwalo, you can give us, from your own assessment, the three candidates. What personality do you see of them, and who do you likely think Nigerian people will embrace his personality to vote for him?
Well, I mean, from what we've seen on social media so far, definitely Peter Obi comes across as a young man who's outgoing, approachable, who's one that you could, he's willing to engage you and you can learn from. And that's what's most endearing to people. He comes across as someone who has a different mindset from the old ways of doing things. Many examples he gives of when he was the governor, and how people thought they would come and just drink champagne every day in government house, and he refused. And how he, how he's economical with funds. Someone who's, he doesn't want, he opposes wastage. So in terms of his personality, people tend to warm to people who are in governance but are not greedy per se, who are willing to use the resources given to them to put to good use for the benefit of people, and that's why people see his personality as a person, as someone that they would rather give the opportunity to mount the saddle of leadership in Nigeria. That's Peter Obi. In terms of Tinubu, people tend to warm to him. People who know him closely tend to warm to him majorly because he's seen as someone who has been proven to groom people. He's one who identifies talent. That's his, he identifies talent, and he will give you an opportunity to excel. And people tend to see him as a kind of a character who's a strong character who would lead Nigeria to where it should be. Who would not be afraid to muscle up the talents, many talents we have in Nigeria. And so when you're talking about his own person as a person, obviously I don't know these people closely, but I'm talking about from afar, how I see them, how I see him. He comes across as a jovial man who's serious, but at the same time, who's willing to give a listening ear, who's willing to do what he feels he can do, anything to get to where he wants to be. That's how Tinubu comes across to me. Then the man of Atiku seems to be a man who's a friendly man, who's welcoming. Every time he walks, he has a crowd walking around him. He has a big heart, a man who's willing to open up and share with everybody. And the PDP way, share, come on, let's all.
He has enough to go. He has enough to go around, of course.
Yes. Well, so that's the kind of personality he comes across to me as. Someone who's willing to share the booty, share the spoils of victory. And that's how people see him, and that's why people tend to warm to him too. And he seems to be, every time you see his entourage, he has a mixture of people. He has an Igbo man, Yoruba man, Hausa man. That's why they call him the unifier. So he's already played his cards right. Same way Tinubu, and this is something that's going for these two men. Tinubu has people dotted all across Nigeria who are loyal to him. Igbo man, Yoruba man, Hausa. He has people who he's made. They're all millionaires. He made them high-powered positions through Tinubu. They tell you the man who made them. Atiku has the same. He's been able to, over the years, groom people across Nigeria, have people in high-powered positions who he single-handedly put in position. And that's something that's lacking on the part of P2B. And this is something
okay, hold on there. Hold on. Can you hold on a bit?
You talked about you talked about the unseen things that could matter later. These are one of the things that you might see.
Yeah, can you hold on? I want to address something you just mentioned quickly, then you continue.
Okay.
Because I want to ask you a question, actually. Because you highlighted that of Tinubu, you've highlighted that of Atiku, having their potential to identify talent, that's on the part of Tinubu to groom people. Then having Atiku, he has the large heart to share the spoil, according to what you said. Now, on the part of P2B, they give shishi. Onyaka gum. He's stingy man, right? Good.
But some people like it.
No, hang on. I'm coming. That's your own narrative. I'm looking at your own perspective. I'm not talking my own mind now. Now, I want to ask you a question before I come in. Tinubu as a person, can you give us an example of those he made?
Tinubu.
And how he was able to groom people and the kind of people he groomed.
Who
are those people?
Tinubu's proteges are out there to see. Virtually all the governors that came after him, including that team, and since 2007 in Lagos State belong to people.
Yeah.
All across the southwest of Nigeria, virtually all the governors there, at one point or another worked through him.
Good.
And the vice president of Nigeria, he made him who he was. He was the attorney general of Lagos State, and he recommended him to run. The former finance minister of Nigeria, Kemi Adeosun, was Tinubu's appointee, and many, many more in this ministry.
Okay. All right. Now,
Southwest.
So we can agree that Tinubu actually groomed political class. The same political class people have termed failure cumulatively with respect to how the shape of Nigeria today. Those political class that has been groomed by Tinubu have not translated into a better life for an average Nigerian. It is for the bourgeois. It is mainly for the bourgeois. Someone have accused Tinubu of running a cartel kind of political structure where you groom people that will take over your smaller cells and be loyal to you. That is exactly what Tinubu has been able to establish, and you have just confirmed that. Then coming to that of Atiku. Atiku, you said he has the large heart to share the spoil. Even his boss, Obasanjo, said that the money Atiku stole is enough to feed Nigerians for the next how many years. That he stole a whole lot of money. We know that he was running the economic angle of the government during Obasanjo's regime, knowing fully well his position as the vice president. We know a lot of things that had gone down the drain. But one wonderful feature about Atiku, like you mentioned, he has the large heart to share the spoil of looting, the spoil of diverted public funds. People, that's exactly the kind of people we are dealing with. I believe you guys are hearing what I'm hearing. I'm following this conversation. You might as well, bring in your own submission on this. Now, Spencer, we are talking about Mr. P2B. They give shishi, yes? That is exactly why so many political class and bourgeois, including religious leaders, hate him. We've seen that played out in the past, beginning from the likes of contractors, political contractors like Ned Nwoko, and the rest of them. They don't like Mr. P2B because he's not going to play ball with you. If he gives you money to do contract, you must deliver on the job. He's not going to cut from you and you leave the rest to yourself. And you are all flying private jet at the expense of the ordinary people. That is the kind of political system we have in Nigeria. And also we're talking about Atiku having good heart to share the spoil among corrupt politicians. So he could be attracted to them, but P2B's nature is not attractive. We are talking about even Father Mbaka. That was where the origin of his problem started. Because he refused. Not that P2B is not empowering the ordinary people. In fact, when it comes to giving, P2B is the biggest groomer of individuals that he doesn't even make. Recently, he went to Germany. One of the lecturers in Germany, in Europe, I don't know if he's in Germany or he's in Switzerland, but he came to that program in Germany. And he's just coming to meet P2B one-on-one. Because P2B made him what he is. P2B never knew him from anywhere. He just wrote a proposal and asked him for assistance from the state government. He was not even residing in Anambra State, but due to the help P2B gave him, he was able to travel abroad, finish his education. Today, he's a lecturer in Europe. The same is applicable to so many of them. Coming to investment in industries, we look at Innocent today in Anambra State. Beginning, he says charity begins at home. He set up Innocent with his mouth. I have published the documentary on this platform. In case you are doubting it, I will play it out. When P2B mentioned that it is the politicians that are killing industries in Nigeria, especially the governors. They take contracts and they will not pay. That documentary, that video is out there on the public domain. Innocent with his mouth say he wouldn't have been where he is today if not because of the government of P2B. Why? P2B invested in Innocent. How did he do that? He indigenized the patronage of cars. He didn't go abroad to bring in Lexus Jeeps and other big products and brands the politicians will always want to buy. In fact, he was even impeached or had problem with state assembly members who insisted that he must buy the other big one for them. And the man said, if you are not driving the made in Anambra vehicle, then forget about it. He was able to pay up front. So these guys started producing. Today, if you look at when Innocent started and the kind of cars he is producing now, is as a result of the huge investment, the capital investment P2B laid on that factory. Now, let us move away from Anambra State and move over to the north. A young man in the north has come forward. He has an agricultural processing plant. He has come forward to say that without P2B, he wouldn't have been where he is today. He has agricultural processing plant in Kano. Maybe because what he saw and how he saw P2B invest in Innocent, he came forward to, appeal to the governor of Anambra State then. And he invested in him as well. And the man is not an Igbo man. The man is not from Anambra State. The man has his factory in Kano, far away Kano. But he was able to impact in them. His impartation in these people is not just to make these two men rich, but to create jobs for the ordinary young people on the street. Today you have engineers working in Innocent, learning some kind of experience through the process of the job. That is as a result of one man's decision to invest in indigenous plant. Unlike Atiku, the Atiku of a man who has the opportunity to ensure that we have 24 hours electricity. My people, what happened to us when that thing cut off was NEPA took light. NEPA took light. As you know, there is unstable electricity. No thanks to Atiku. They squandered a whole lot of billions in that process. And he himself admitted that they failed. He said that they paid contractors money up front, some of them 100% up front, and they couldn't deliver anything. And yet, they were not held accountable. Up to today, under the watch of Atiku. And this is the same people that wants the Nigerian people's vote. My people, Tulezienu, Makoziano, about these personalities. Now let us now move over to the inconsequential one as we try to wrap up on this section. Spencer, tell me from your permutation the religious possibility for, on the religious background, the possibility of the three major candidates to win, in your own perspective.
Yeah, before I go to that, I'll tell you quickly that when it comes down to that, Bola Ahmed Tinubu invested heavily in agriculture. You have to know that in Lagos State, the land mass is tight, and what he did was he invested heavily in Ogun State. Today, Ogun State is like the farmland of Lagos State. You know, you have to understand how they've worked in Ogun State. People in Ogun State pay taxes to Lagos State. This is the Southwest working together. Regional cohesion, regional work. People live in Ogun and they pay tax to Lagos State because he's managed to reach out and work across the region. And this is what you need. Governors working together. It's only applicable in the Southwest at the moment. And this is a visionary leader. This is what you see by visionary leadership. When you talk about over the past 24 years, the best governors have come from the Southwest. On the back, the best governors in Nigeria, apart from, I will not say the places I've mentioned, that I've been to, apart from the south of Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, the former governor of Akpabio, who did wonders. In the southeast, Dave Umahi, he did wonders. The next place to see consistency and regional cohesion in terms of governors working together in unison is in the Southwest. And this is gelled at the helm of all this unity and everything is one man called Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's the leader. He's led the Southwest, brought the Southwest together, and he's becoming, once he becomes the president, or if he becomes the president, he'll probably be greater than the Awolowo of this world. He will become the Jagaban that existed. And we're looking at a living legend, but we don't know. Only when he's dead will his power, his achievements be counted for Nigerians to record in the history books.
Okay.
But anyway, that's now going to talk about religion.
Yeah.
And what religion can do in Nigeria. We know that definitely Nigeria is a highly religious society. The Christians hold their Christianity dear to their heart. The Muslims equally hold theirs dear to their heart. And I dare say some of us who are traditionalists hold it dear to our hearts too. Me, I call myself a free spirit. I'm not I was born a Christian, yes. But I'm not, particularly worried about going to a mosque. I've been to a mosque. I've been to pray there. It's a house of prayer. I'm not worried about going to a Pentecostal church. I was born in the Catholic Church. I grew up in the church. I was a mass server in the church. So I know about it. I'm not particularly worried about going to the Anglican church because I live in London, in England. And England is an Anglican society. So I'm not really worried about that. But I know in Nigeria, religion does play a part. So I would say, for most, most times in Nigeria, most as candidates would always want to have their running mate to become somebody from the opposite religion as themselves. So that's why you see the PDP, Atiku went down to this Delta State to pick an Okowa, who's a Christian, and that will bring that balance in terms of religion. So when you're looking at the ticket, you're looking at North-South, you're looking at the religion, Muslim, Christian, but, and looking at looking at other things that is, not carrying, it seems to carry everybody along. Now, in the case of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he's a Muslim, right? But his wife is a Christian. His wife is a pastor. If we have a president tomorrow, we're going to have in Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we're going to have a president who, he's a Christian, and the first lady is he's a Muslim, and the first lady is a Christian. Now, from that angle already, you see that there's already unison in that ticket, in his presidency. Now, when you talk about his vice president is a Muslim, but that was done based on political reasons. And Tinubu said it himself.
And you think it doesn't matter? You think it doesn't matter?
It doesn't really, it shouldn't matter. This is where we should be going.
No, I'm talking about, I know, I will understand it is not the way, but we're talking about the Nigerian situation now. with the sentiment in Nigeria, the reality.
No, I'm coming. The reason why it wouldn't matter in this case is what I'm trying to explain to you now. That his wife is a Christian, right? And this is for people to explain. And these people, once the campaign starts, it will be made clear. And she will come out and speak as well. His wife is a Christian. His running mate is a Muslim. But when it comes down to people who can win votes, because you need to win votes, politics is not about pandering to or playing to the gallery. No, it's about facing the reality, which is what you're saying. The reality on ground is that when it comes down to winning votes in the Southwest, which is his region, they know that in Yoruba land, religion is not much of an issue. Whether you're Christian, Muslim, the brothers and sisters lived in the same house and they're Muslim or Christian. It's not a problem in the Southwest. So the Southwest has no issue. Now he needed somebody who's ideally a Christian in the North. And you can see that the area he needs to battle is in the Northeast. That's where he needed that battle. Now to have that battle in the Northeast, he looked around and there was no real Christian who had the following similar to his, who has done deliberate, and like he did, he was comparable. He wanted the best. And when you're talking about who has done the best in the Northeast, bar none, there's no other than Shetima, Shetima, the former governor of Borno State. He's been the best governor in that Northeast region. He's been the person who's delivered the most. Now he left and did the same as Tinubu. He installed Zulum at the moment, who's working and even the best, because the rumors had it that Tinubu wanted Zulum. But people said, look, this is a man who's doing a good job for us. If you take him away, it's like taking away someone doing good for us. Rather you take Shetima, who's the citizen. And that's why he went for the Muslim.
But according to, excuse me, let me come in there a little bit, and you continue from there. But according to Tinubu, he said that he couldn't find a competent Christian APC member.
But he's not competent. What we know is he could not find somebody who will win votes. It's not about competence.
But that is what he said. That is, I'm losing his words.
You have to understand what he means, and you have to use your teeth to count your teeth and know what he means. He wants somebody who can win him votes. In this Northwest, when Buhari was chosen, Buhari was not chosen because he was the best in the Northwest. No, it was because we looked at the figures and we saw that this man consistently had 7 million votes, 8 million dedicated votes from that region, consistently. That was why we said, look, if politics is about the game of numbers, and it's about votes is what counts. What's the point of me picking someone who's not going to win votes?
You said Northeast alone gave 7 million votes to.
No, Buhari, Northwest. Buhari, I said that Buhari. When you look at Buhari, I was giving an example. It's an illustration as to why Buhari was chosen by the APC. He was chosen not because he's the most competent, not because he was the most educated, or the one that speaks the most grammar, or because he's the best Muslim in the Northwest. No, he was chosen because he can give you the numbers.
Okay. You made like a reference point.
Yes,
no, that's the permutation of Tinubu as a person when he was making Buhari the president. He chose Buhari. He went into alliance with Buhari, knowing fully well if he brings his weight and that of Buhari's weight, they will be able to overcome the PDP.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
And that's what he's now trying to do in the Northeast. What he's saying to himself is, in the Southwest, I've been competent. I served as a governor for 8 years. I delivered. My people love me. In the Northeast, Borno State, I have my running mate who was the governor there for 8 years. He served well. He delivered. His people loves him. He has consistent votes over time. He gathers almost half a million votes in time. I'm going to do that. He has proven leaders. He has left successors who are doing better than he is. And that's the mark of a leader. A leader is somebody who installs people who come out to do better than you. When I have my children tomorrow, I want my children to be better than me. I don't want to say that I'm better than my children. I want my children to be better than me. So that's why when people turn around and say, Tinubu was not the one who built Lagos, blah, blah. That's a plus to him.
Okay.
If he installed somebody, and they turned out his candidate, for instance, in an election, turned out to win and became the governor and worked well and continued the legacy and done well. Who's it credit to?
Okay. I think we will not be going backward again, because we're just trying to round up and deal with some of the two issues. Now, on the issue of faith, religion, you know that within the APC, there are some people who pulled out and said categorically, we are in APC, but we are not going to support this candidacy of Muslim ticket, including Muslim APC members, not just the Christian factions. But you can say that a couple of them, like the governors who are always the beneficiary, the bourgeois at the top, they will always go in for anything as long as their court is there for them, as long as their space is there secured for them. So they don't care. Now,
can I say something quickly?
Okay.
Now, don't forget that in the primaries, right? I have my preference. My preference during the primaries was, I must say,
Osibanjo. Yes.
Osibanjo was a Christian. Some people who supported Osibanjo, who were mainly Christians, some Muslims, felt angry. They were disgruntled. And they used whatever excuse they had to decide not to support Tinubu. That's the truth.
No, I'm saying on the ground of Muslim ticket, they came out very clear. In fact, they called a summit. They called a summit, including, what's that his name? Is that Boss Mustafa? And some of them came together and said, we are not going to support Muslim ticket.
Can I say something? That's what I'm telling you, what they would say. But I'm telling you, prefer. Some people were not happy when Amechi didn't make it. In the PDP, we see what's happening in the PDP. Wike has his own crew who are giving all sorts of reasons why they're not happy with it. But you can see, to some extent, they have their reasons. But we all know that is the hurt from losing the election.
Okay, now let us now look outside the political games within the faith-based issue. Now let's talk about the ordinary people out there and the percentage of Christian Muslims in Nigeria. Today you have PDP and APC candidates all running Muslim presidential candidates, and the worst is APC, which is running APC Muslim ticket. Now you have if the vote, to me, that's my own thinking, if the vote will be divided along religious line. Look at how it is going to happen, Spencer. The Muslims of the north will eventually may go for Atiku, while the Muslims of the west, which are not really that much, will go to Tinubu if they are going to vote along religious line. I'm just saying people who are going to vote along religious line. That doesn't mean, excuse me, I'm coming. That doesn't mean
Tinubu's wife is a Christian.
I'm coming. So the Tinubu's wife do not have much influence in this. People are looking, excuse me, calm down. Let me finish first. Spencer, excuse me, let me finish. We know Aisha Buhari is the president's wife and also a Muslim, yet she couldn't play any significant. We know the war that has been happening in us. I'm coming, calm down. I'm just trying to let you know, excuse me, sir. I'm just trying to let you know that when it comes to the issue of the presidential election, first lady, whatever nonsense doesn't even come into play. Nobody votes. No, excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Let me finish. Nobody votes a presidential candidate because of his wife personality. Much more talking about his wife religion. Now, excuse me. Just calm down, good. Let me finish. I'm talking about, I want us to break this thing down so that we can move into the last one and we'll conclude. Now, when you talk about that of Muslim ticket or voting along ethnic religious lines, you can, from my own permutation, the vote will be shared along, I mean those who will vote based on religion, that doesn't mean that all of this really matters and people in the Muslim cannot vote without then people that are not Christian will not vote Muslim, and the people who are Christians will not vote Muslim, and people who are Muslim will not vote Christians. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying those who will vote along religious line, we share the vote between, in the north, they will vote, who are the predominantly Muslims, will vote for Atiku, while those of the west will vote for Tinubu, many of them. And of which those who will be voting for Tinubu from the west are in the minority in terms of the number of Muslims in Nigeria. And in Nigeria,
vote for Tinubu. It doesn't work that way.
He said,
majority are Trump.
No.
To vote for Tinubu. Yes.
I said I'm not saying that there are no Muslims in the north that will vote for Tinubu. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying, Spencer, that majority of Muslim north will definitely or will choose Atiku than because they don't see, excuse me, the reason is simple. Listen, the reason is very simple. The reason is that the northern Muslim do not see the Western Muslims as that true Muslims. Excuse me. One. Then number two, knowing fully well that Atiku is married to a Muslim, and when he married to, excuse me, when he married from, excuse me, sir, I give you time, give me time. When Atiku married from East, which is probably a Christian lady, the woman converted to Islam, took an Islamic name and doctrine. So the Muslims will see Atiku as a true Muslim. I'm talking about people who are going to vote along religious line. The northern Muslims will definitely choose Atiku as better and true Muslim than that of Tinubu. But when it comes to the west, majority, excuse me now, you are making this thing wrong. Calm down now, calm down. I give you time to talk, okay? Calm down. Now Atiku, Tinubu on his part, we have majority of Western Muslims vote for him. Okay? Good. Now, when it comes to Labour, spreading across Nigeria, the whole Nigerian Christians, which have chunk of it, which have those who are going, I'm talking about religious line, the chunk of Christian, if I have to put it in percentage, Atiku will get from the Muslims of the north about 90% of their votes, or 80% of vote of Muslims, while Tinubu may get 20% or 30% of Muslim votes. But in P2B's reality, P2B could take 80% of voters or 90% of voters from the Christian background. So, because he's not sharing it with PDP or APC now, those who are going to, I'm not saying, listen, we are not saying that people should vote according to this line, but these are political realities in Nigeria. We are just looking at permutations. Okay? Now, let us quickly handle the last one because time is fast going.
Say something quickly about what you said, but that's why I wanted to jump in and let you carry on, but you didn't let me. What I'm trying to say is this. What I'm trying to say is simple. That look, it doesn't work that way. What you have to understand is when it comes to the election proper,
give us your Hapus campaign, leave campaign aside. Give us your own permutation. I have just given my own permutation and why. Give us your own.
Mine is simple. Mine is that when it comes down to the campaigns, when the campaign starts and the Muslim issue will be brought up, Remi Tinubu will be out there campaigning for her husband.
We know that one. He will not be campaigning for Tinubu, definitely. Can you give us your own permutation? I've just given permutation based on ethnic line. Forget about campaign or no campaign. From your own assessment, give us quickly your assessment. Who do you think will vote? It seems you don't agree with what I said.
I'm trying to give you the reasons why it's gonna go. Why I'm gonna say now. Let me build it up.
We don't have all the time. We don't have all this time. We have the last one to discuss, please. Biko.
The reason why I'm telling you this is that, look, you have a man who married a Christian. When it comes down to it, he's gonna push his Christian wife forward, and she's gonna come and tell people, look, you have nothing to be afraid of. If it's the Christian issue or Muslim issue you're worried about, my husband is not going to Islamize Nigeria.
Oh, nobody's even talking about Islamizing Nigeria. But just give us your own excuse me. Just give us an idea. Forget about. We are going to listen, Spencer. Hey, listen. We are going to discuss. We are going to discuss this religious issue some other time as a different topic. So just give us your own permutation. Based on if vote will go along religious line.
Southwest,
give us.
In the Southwest, I believe that Christians are shared. In the Southwest, Christian Muslim are shared. That you're going to have like a third vote for P2B, a third will vote for Atiku, a third will vote for Tinubu. In the North, they have a strong base of Christians in places like Kaduna, right? But I feel like there are more Muslims in the North, yeah? So in the North, I feel like Tinubu and P2B and Atiku might get slightly a bit more, yeah? So it might go like 20-20, like 30-30, no. So say what's his name? Atiku gets 40% of the votes. Tinubu could get like say 30% of the votes. P2B could get like maybe 30% or 25%. Based on Christians that are there, and Muslims who like him. Then you come down to the Southeast. Yes, predominantly in the Southeast there are Christians. That's where I believe P2B will probably have about 60% of the votes. Then based on religion as well, yeah, you have Muslims in the South as well, right? But they might not be as the same as in the North, but at the same time you have Christians. And based on Tinubu's wife, who is a pastor of Redeemed Church, you're going to see that it's not going to be as small as you think, right? That's where Atiku himself might have the less votes, but somebody like Tinubu will still have more votes than Atiku in the Southeast. But P2B ultimately, being a Christian ruler in the Southeast, will win all of them. But when it comes to the North, so in essence, it will balance itself out. There'll be a balance.
All right. So now let us quickly now tackle the last one, which is we're not supposed to take more than 5 minutes on this one because we've far spent our time. It's almost 2 hours. We are still on this issue. Let us talk about the ethnic background from the perspective, from your own assessment, according to Nigeria. How do you think this vote is going to go if it is going to go around on ethnic lines? How do you think?
This election already to me is going to be based on ethnicity. These things you brought up, ethnicity, because already it's gone tribal. P2B has brought that to the fore by that was even bringing out one comment by one miscreant and trying to make it like to be the perspective of the Tinubu camp. That was no way.
But that has been because I've seen such comment myself from different places. You don't watch that away. So I'm also a member of different Tinubu camps on WhatsApp.
That's by the way talk. So what I'm trying to say to you is, when it comes to religion, definitely, if it's going to go by ethnicity, if you're going to go by ethnic grounds, don't forget that there are over 300 and something ethnic groups in Nigeria. This is nothing to do with the North being one homogeneous area. No, the Fulanis are a minority in Nigeria, less than Igbos. Less. The Yorubas are the largest ethnic group in Nigeria. If you don't even know, as a group, as a people, after Hausa people, after Hausa.
I don't agree with you anyway, but go ahead.
No, you wouldn't, because you don't understand. Let me not tell you how I agree and I know. It's not about spread. It's about population and what you practice.
Go ahead.
Now, in terms of Now, when it comes to the north, they have more children than us. Now, Fulanis are a minority, but they're nowhere near the Igbos. Fulani, no Hausa, Fulani. Now, when it comes to voting, the Hausas and the Fulanis are northerners, they speak the same language. So, it might tilt towards Atiku more in the north in terms of voting pattern, right? Because they're similar. They intermarry, they have a long historical.
Yeah, connection. Yeah, they call them Hausa Fulanis. Go ahead.
And then the that's what I said to you. It's already shared itself out into regional politics, whereby the North are gonna say, "I'm gonna vote for my brother," and who is your brother in the North? It's Atiku. We saw it plan out in the primaries when the Southwest wanted to win this North. Wike and Peter Obi couldn't agree. And Peter Obi pulled out. Wike stood his ground. Suddenly, what's his name stepped down for Atiku. We saw that happen. When you check their tribes, they might not be, I don't know if they're both Fulani, but he stepped down for a fellow northerner. Now they have that thing. So if it comes to northern regional politics, then Atiku will win the election because they have the numbers. And how do I say they have the numbers? They have the numbers based on their religion. A Muslim is allowed to marry more than one wife. He will marry one wife. They'll tell you he has 20 children, and you're shocked. In Igbo land, we marry one wife predominantly. We might have one extra marriage, and we have extra one child, but we have maybe 4 children. We can never compete when it comes to offspring. That's why population-wise, they will beat. So if it's to do with ethnicity, Atiku will win the election. That's the truth. After Atiku, then it will probably be Tinubu, based on their own religious. When I mean religious, the way Yoruba
tradition, both their traditional mix, even with even some of them who are Christians are polygamous.
They're polygamous by nature. That's the point. So you're right. You got it. So, but in Igbo land, we have a less of a population in terms of we're more conservative. We're more
they are more Christianized. Yeah, go ahead. Go on.
The Christian doctrine seems to limit us in terms of our population and childbearing. Even though we live in the north or wherever we live, even if we live in the northern parts of Nigeria, we still adhere to that where one man, one wife, and just 3 children or so. We might have one extramarital child somewhere, and that's about it. So, in that sense, for me, the person who will win the way would be PDP in that sense.
All right, thank you very much for your own permutation. And on that, I'm not going to talk much because you hit a very vital point when you talk about the population of Ndigbo based on religion that have limited the population spread of Ndigbo. Religion played a very strong role. The issue of one man, one wife. Not just that, Spencer. It is not even just only Christianity of one man, one wife, but also adopting Western culture of one man, one wife, one kid, or probably 2 at most, in the name of 2 children. You understand? So if you look at them and say, no, I don't want to give more. They want to copy and become more West than more Igbos. So that is playing a huge part on our side. And I believe our people are seeing that clearly, how it is playing against us. But nevertheless, it doesn't take away the fact that Igbos are a very large group of race that is scattered abroad. They are more spread. And that is why people kept wondering, despite this one man, one wife of a thing. Yet, if you go to any community in Nigeria, I'm not talking about state, I'm taking it down to community and even down to ward. In any community in Nigeria, immediately after the indigenous population, Igbos come second. Nobody can argue that. Nobody in life can argue that, including you, Spencer. You cannot argue that. It is impossible. The true situation of things in Nigeria is that immediately after the indigenous population of any community, you have the Igbos as the largest settlers in that place. Tell me, if you sum that up, don't you think that Igbos actually has the greatest number of people in terms of population, despite that religious inclination and civilization, they yet are widespread in their millions. There is no place in the world, not even in Nigeria, that you will go, you will not see an Igbo man. And there is a wider acceptability that anywhere you go and you no see an Igbo man, do not spend the night there. There is no life there. It is a wide universal acceptability of how Igbos are widely spread. These are people come to Nigeria to reduce as a minority. I think the rigging of the census is what is, influencing that permutation that the North, especially the Hausa Fulanis, has more population. Because I've been in the North. I don't know if you have been in the North yourself, Spencer. I've been in the North.
Yep.
I've gone across the North. You can travel. They have landmass, no doubt, but they don't have that population. If you go to any community in the North, count the houses, number of houses you have there. Count the number of indigenous people you have there. They are not up to one building in Awada here. Awada here, where you have 5-story building, you have, when people come out from their house, from one yard or from one building, it is, you can equate it with the number of people you can find in a whole community in the one North. That is the truth. So these are the things some people don't even look at. But sometimes when they say this, I laugh. Do you know why? We are the ones that shot ourselves in the leg. The recent census that was conducted, I'm going to bring in somebody very quickly. Emeka is joining us from direct call. I'll give him a chance to speak. Emeka, hold on. Let me finish with this. If Ndi Igbo had done what is right during the census that happened in Nigeria, where somebody in the name of one agitation asked them, you are not part of Nigeria, and forced our people not to be counted. That is why in Nigeria today, we are seen as minority. Outside what Britain did during the time they did their census, which they rigged, and they've come up to confess. So when you look at all this, you find out that when you talk about population strength or voter strength, to be honest with you, Ndi Igbo are still at the front burner. And that is just my own permutation. I think I and Spencer, you've had a wonderful time with me. I really appreciate that. Let us quickly, in 1 or 2 minutes, give some people who are coming in through the voice to air their own opinion. Then we will conclude and wrap it up. Hello, Emeka. Thank you for joining us on today's program.
Yeah, hello, Chinedu. Once again, I'd like to thank you for, bringing enlightenment to our people. It's truly appreciated. I've enjoyed your program this evening, but there's something I would like to chip in about the Southeast. If our people could actually carry out our own census, we need to have what you call a think tank whereby census could be held. Let's have true census in Nigeria. So indigenous people can count their own people and just bring it to the table so we can know actually how many people we have in that so-called country called Nigeria. As you rightfully said, it's been played down, the numbers of people in the Southeast. And I think it's high time we take the bull by the horn. Each community should do a census, count their own people, bring it out, and then we know those who are there. I know people are abroad, but we need to count more so those in Nigeria. That way we can be able to have our facts right and speak more honestly about population in Nigeria. I think that's something I wanted to point out.
All right, thank you very much, Emeka. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm going to also quickly take another test that came in. The person actually was asking Spencer a question of, was saying something like the number of people that voted during that are voting during BB Naija and the rest of the, I made a video concerning BB Naija, why some people thought that Nigerian youths are not going to come out. There is going to be a serious change within that fair. He was saying that the number of youths that are active on BB Niger and today focusing on obedient movement will make a serious mark and change. That was just a commentary coming through from the WhatsApp. Now, I'm going to also quickly bring in Ndubisi and Enugu to join us in this conversation. Yeah, go on.
I wanted to make a...
Go on. Go on, while we bring Ndubisi in.
Yeah, the point he made is important, which is that the Southeast needs to actually say to themselves, enough of all this guesswork now.
Yeah.
We need to now say to ourselves, let's put together a think tank to now say, let's actually go out and count our people from community to community. I think somebody has said this before. Is it the chairman of Alibo Development Forum or something?
Yeah.
They came up with this.
The idea of going to go and get actually the population of Ndibo. I think Ohanes actually did that.
So I think Ohanes did something of that sort, yes. And they came up some figures in Kano in the north. So yes, Nyanwodo was always saying that they did something of sort. So we need to actually find about ways, and this is where we now need our...
Hello, good evening.
Yes, Andy, hang on. Andy, hang on a bit, okay? Hang on. We'll bring you in.
Have House of Representative members and many members of the Senate to now say this is what they should do. Our constituents across Nigeria are this number. We need to review this. This is what we can do, and this is where I say that our representatives are not doing well in that respect. So I understand what Derek saying and Emeka saying. He really made a point, and this is where our leaders should be looking forward to. So we can know how many people we are. We should know when it comes to resource allocation, state creation even. Yeah. When they're saying Ebola needs no extra state. These are the things that will help us be able to approach the federal government and demand for our just rights.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Ndubisi, hang on still. Let us quickly take this caller. I think the caller just ended. Ndubisi, come in and give us your own assessment of the whole discussion so far. Do it in just few minutes as much as possible, and let us conclude because we are far beyond our time.
Yeah, thank you, Chinedu. I do appreciate your effort sensitizing our people. Of course, in taking your position, and as well as Spencer, his position as well is also appreciated. Let me add my own by saying that 2023 election will defeat all political permutation, all known political permutations, because there are several permutations going on, like when you, Chinedu, pointed out that people in the Southeast will be voting for Peter Obi, as well as South and Southwest to Tinubu, and part of Northern Nigeria for Atiku. You know, the truth of the matter is that the existing political structures we have in Nigeria are structures put in place by corrupt political class. And those structures are windows through which money is distributed during election period. But this coming election will not be the same thing. There will be disappointment coming from different quarters. People will be giving money and people will disappear with the money given to them. And on the election day, they will do the needful. That is what I, as a person, from my own point of view, can say, or rather, that is what I foresee happening in 2023. Again, on the Igbos, the population size of the Igbos, the issue I've identified with the Igbos is that Igbos are not interested in politics. They are not voting at all. It's only this obedient movement that brought about new momentum, new political excitement, and many of them were excited to even go for voters card. And you can see the outcome of that during the last voters registration exercise. Many of them closed their shops, their business centers to go to INEC offices, and about 80% of Igbos were, who wanted to secure their voters card. It did not succeed at the end of the day. A few days ago, I think yesterday, INEC published that about 1 point something million uh, vo- voters were invalid and will not count. So what I'm saying is that the population size of Igbos are not actually being used or put in use because of their mercantile mentality, their buying and selling and trading mentality. They just believe that nah, forget that thing. Let me go and do my business. But this Buhari administration has become an eye opener. It has opened so many of their eyes. That policy coming from government can actually frustrate you. But even with the situation, I'm telling you, if Igbos are 100%, I'm telling you, 70% have not gotten their voters card. 70%. That is estimation anyway. That is forecasted. I can use what is happening around here. If I go to a caucus here and start asking people questions on how many number of people who have registered, you will be amazed. You'll be surprised that majority of people inside the caucus have not gotten their voters card. The same thing with the transporters. How many of these transporters will even sacrifice 2 hours to go to INEC registration center? They will not do that. I'm telling you. So what I'm saying is that we will base our conclusion on those who have gotten their registration, their voters card, and those buying and selling politicians, you know, those buying and selling politicians. That this time around, a lot of things will change. A lot of things will change. So I foresee disappointment. I foresee many politicians being disappointed from the outcome of 2023 election. But anyway, I don't expect miracle. Anything will happen. Anything is possible. I don't have a fixed mind that a Labour Party must win. But I think they have chances if they work hard. If they should go with advice given to them by Falana, that you have to go down.
To the
You have
grassroots.
to do door to door. Yes, go to market women. Go and meet the actual voters, not going to the churches and going to the people that have kept us where we are presently. You need to go out. You need to build structure, raise structure. You need to create the momentum from the world level. So if I see that happening, like I've told Spencer before, that this is September, that from now till November, I expect to see a lot of actions going all over the country. But if nothing happens, then Labour Party will not make any impact. The impact will remain on 1 million march and online social media activities.
All right. Okay, Spencer,
Yeah,
you have
that's what.
something. You have something to say. Just say it very briefly so that we can wrap it up because we are just beyond our time. Go ahead.
Yeah. So all I want to say is something we haven't touched on today about with our presentation is insecurity in the southeast. If the spate of insecurity continues, my brother, the election turnout will be very, very low in the southeast. And some people are saying that this is probably being manufactured by a certain political section who want to ensure that the Southeast remains afraid to come out to vote. And what will happen is, once you have a lower election turnout, it now means that achieving 25% is easier. Because now achieving 25% becomes easy. You know? So this is something that we need to start working on our governance and preaching out in terms of restoring security to Anambra State, restoring security to the Southeast as a whole. And this is one area I think we need to bring out.
No. You see, your observation is on point. I agree totally with you. Thank you, Spencer, for giving us your time. That is the voice of this man you see here, one big man, Spencer Anyanwelo, the CEO, Prime View Television, a friend, a brother, and you see the open discussion. I encourage every one of you out there that have watched this far, you can share this video and also drop your comments as we continue on this program on daily basis. On weekdays from Mondays to Friday, we talk political review and matters arising. Thank you for watching this far. Let me, before we go, let us get your departing word for the people out there, just in a minute.
All I'd like to say is, everyone, like we said, get your PVCs. Do not be bullied. Stand firm. Choose who you want to vote for. Go for it. We all want Nigeria to be a better place. Vote and protect your votes. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Spencer. Vote and protect your vote. And as well, make sure you don't sell that vote, because that is what the big money bags are counting on. I know why he's smiling. Actually, somebody is really, MWC, quickly tell us, give us your own recounts as we wrap it up on today's political review. What a wonderful time. He said it's an interesting topic that made us shoot beyond our time. MWC, go ahead.
Yes, I want to advise our people to pay attention in politics, in electing credible and visionary leaders into positions of political authority. That is important. So my parting message is for us to devote time, just like as we give to church programs and our personal businesses, to political issues. Thank you, Chinedu.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And to you, Spencer Anyanwelo, thank you for being part of this program. We hope to always have you. You are welcome here where your opinion counts. And we look forward subsequently to bringing other people with different perspective to this whole thing. Okay? We hope that we are going to bring everyone on board and carry everyone along. Don't forget to subscribe on this channel, BVI Channel 1. Whenever you want to get his own opinion or visit what he's doing, you can visit Prime View Television on YouTube and also on Facebook. Okay? You can also listen to him and get to, if you like what he say, he's one balanced guy that has an objective. He's very objective when it comes to public opinions like this. So you can also listen to his programs on Prime View Television and follow him right there. But right here, we see it, we say it. No apology to anybody. We are not like any other media platform, the secular media platform. We do it in a way that we put forward public interest first. That is where I'll be wrapping it up. Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you for being part of this program. Thank you very much, Spencer. Thank you. We'll see you some other time. All right. NWC, thank you also for your own time. Thank you, and we hope you're going to join us. You're part of this family anyway. We thank you for joining us and being part of what we are doing. NWC. NWC, can you hear me?
Yes. Hello?
Yeah. Yeah, NWC?
Hello?
I said thank you very much for joining us. We hope to have you back again.
All right. Thank you, Chinedu, and keep on doing what you are doing.
Thank you. God bless you. All right, that is the end of today's program on Political Review. Thank you, you viewers. I appreciate you more for being part of this program tonight. It's been a wonderful time with you guys. And if there is anything you want to put as an addition, as a contribution, on how you think this program will be better, you bring it forward. We are open for your suggestion, and we hope to have you back sometime again tomorrow. Bye-bye, and stay safe at all times.
Nigerians who are victims of impunity in government by corrupt political class are fed up.